sprawling tapestry of history, filled with warriors and wizards, kings and queens, visionaries and voyagers, there lie hidden threads, the unsung heroes whose names never made it into the headlines, yet whose actions shaped the very world we know today. These are the stories that time almost forgot, the whispers of the past that were about to turn into roars. Each episode will unearth the tales of one such individual who, against the relentless march of empires and the inexorable tides of change, made a choice to act, to stand firm, to innovate, or to sacrifice, forever altering the course of events in ways that still echo through the ages. From the scientist whose quiet calculations launched the space race, to the nurse who redefined medical care on the battlefield, we're honoring the legacies of those who changed the world from behind the scenes. Let's breathe life into their stories, giving credit where it's long overdue. We live in a world lit by light bulbs, powered by machines, and driven by forces we cannot see. But how often do we stop to ask, who gave us this world? You know the name Einstein. You've heard of Newton. But Michael Faraday? Most haven't, and yet without him, none of it would exist. This is the story of the forgotten genius. This is the story of Michael Faraday. Born in 1791, Michael Faraday came from nothing. He was the son of a poor blacksmith with barely any formal schooling. At just 14, he worked as a bookbinder, folding pages, stitching spines, and breathing in the ink of other men's brilliance. But inside those books, he found a spark, a hunger, a desire to learn. He taught himself physics and chemistry. He dreamed of laboratories, not libraries. Faraday's break came when he attended lectures by the famous chemist Sir Humphrey Davy. He sent Davy his notes not as a fan, but as an apprentice in waiting. Davy saw his potential, and so, Faraday the bookbinder entered the world of science. What followed changed everything. Faraday discovered electromagnetic induction, the principle that allows electric currents to be generated from magnetic fields. It was the foundation for the electric motor, the generator, the entire electrical industry. No Faraday, no Tesla, no electric cars, no power grids. He also pioneered electrolysis, invented early forms of the Bunsen burner, and even helped in understanding how light and magnetism are connected. But Faraday didn't chase glory. He refused a knighthood. He declined burial in Westminster Abbey. He didn't seek patents. He believed science was for the benefit of all, not for profit. And so, history forgot him. His discoveries became cornerstones of civilization, while his name faded into footnotes. In his later years, Faraday's health declined, his memory faltered, and the sharpness that once changed the world began to fade. But even as his mind dimmed, his legacy only grew brighter. He had laid the groundwork for James Clerk Maxwell, who translated Faraday's experimental brilliance into mathematical laws that Einstein later called the most profound and the most fruitful that physics has experienced since Newton. In fact, Albert Einstein kept 3 portraits in his office: Newton, Maxwell, and Faraday. That's the level of influence we're talking about. Yet despite all this, Faraday remained humble. He turned down the presidency of the Royal Society twice. He refused a knighthood, and when Queen Victoria offered him a place in the royal palace, he politely declined. He chose instead a quiet house near Hampton Court where he lived modestly, surrounded by books, nature, and a few loyal friends. Faraday's faith was central to his life. He was a devout Christian and a member of the Sandemanian Church. His belief in order, beauty, and unity in nature fueled his pursuit of truth, not for glory, but for understanding. When asked for scientific advice by governments and armies, Faraday often refused, believing science should never be used to harm. He believed in the purity of knowledge, the integrity of curiosity, and the quiet nobility of truth. In an age where ambition and fame often steal the spotlight, Michael Faraday stands as a symbol of something different. a man who changed the world without needing the world to cheer for him. Michael Faraday was not a king, a general, or a president. He led no armies, he built no empires, but his legacy lives in every light that shines, every motor that turns, every city that hums with power. He reminds us that history is not just written by the loud, but by the curious, the persistent, the humble. Faraday lit the path so the world could follow, and now it's time we remember his name.